Namaste. Consulate General of India, Frankfurt, welcomes you to our second edition of our series Let's Connect 9 Women, 9 Success Stories. This series features the journey of some exceptional and magnificent women of Indian origin in Germany. The festival season has arrived in India. Navratri is an Indian festival celebrated over 9 nights. This festival is in honor of the divine Devi. Each day is associated to an incarnation of the goddess. Today is the first day of Navratri, and this day is dedicated to Shailaputri, also an incarnation of goddess Sati. So let us begin the festivities by celebrating the great achievements of these magnificent women in Germany. In today's segment of our Navratri series, it's my pleasure to introduce you to our guest, Ms. Malati Krishnaswamy. Malati Krishnaswamy has many feathers in her cap. She is an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, a podcaster. She started her career as a technical sales engineer and then became an entrepreneur after the birth of her first child and continues to be one till date. She has been living in Germany since 2002 with her family. She runs a company that provides engineering and IT services to micro, small and medium enterprises in Germany and India. In 2019, she founded another startup, Bhogya.online, a social platform that aims to help expat Indians stay connected to their roots. She also hosts a podcast called The Impressive Empress, where she talks to impactful Indian women leaders across the globe about their inner journey to empowerment. She enjoys cooking and reading about Indian religion and philosophy. Thank you, Malati, for joining us today. First of all, wish you a very happy Navratri.
Thank you.
Would you please like to introduce yourself and say something about the Navratri celebrate?
Thank you, Chandrima. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here talking to you. My sincere gratitude to the Consul General and the Consulate of India in Frankfurt for having invited me here today. So about Navratri, and it's closely related to women empowerment, a subject and a topic that is very close to my heart. In India, or Bharat as we call it, it is a land that celebrates women and womanhood. Starting from the Loka Mata right up to the Bhuma Devi, we enjoy or we celebrate womanhood. The rivers, the mountains, all of these have women or names of the feminine. And Navratri is a special occasion where the different forms of the deity or the feminine deity is being celebrated. And if you notice, Chandrima, each one of these days would celebrate a different energy of the feminine. And I'm very honored once again to be part of the Navratri celebrations. 9 series, 9 women is an amazing concept and an initiative taken by the Consulate, and thank you for having me here once again. So to talk a little bit about myself and my journey that brought me from Chennai to Frankfurt. I started as a technical sales engineer, as you rightly said. That was way back in 1990 rather. And I was working for a couple of years, then I got married and then had my first daughter. Back then, we did not have the kindergarten or the facility where we could leave our child safely and then continue to work. So, few months down the line, I started my entrepreneurial journey. I started as a market research firm, a one-woman show, which I continue to do even today. So it's a one-woman show that started with market research, specifically into advertising research, and then we moved to Bangalore, and I continued to be a freelancer there. And then in 2002, for the first time, we came to Germany, and by then I had my second child, a son, and life probably told me that I had to take a long break, so which spanned about a decade. And then we moved to, when we first came, we came to Stuttgart, and then we moved to Frankfurt in 2006. And in 2013, I started my company again here in Germany, a GmbH, Optima eSolutions GmbH is the name of the company. And like you mentioned, we started providing IT and engineering services to small, micro and medium-sized companies in India and in Germany.
Thank you, Malti. That was a very interesting take on your life.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, how did you take your first step towards your success? Do you remember how or what idea actually took you to the first venture which you had started?
Okay. So my journey to success, or the first step to success, I would probably reverse it, come in a reverse chronological order. So over these years, there are a few things that I have learned and I've come to appreciate. To me, success means a lot of things, but I will tell you, because you asked me about the steps to success, I would say it is my undeterring faith in God, which helps me empower myself and also bring the best out of me. And that also helps me to be persevering and ready to face different kinds of challenges that comes with an entrepreneurial journey. And to add to that, I would say the support and the generous love that we get from the family, friends, and well-wishers, all are steps that would help one reach the success that one defines. I mean, that success is very personal, I would say, and it's very subjective. To come to your next question, how did I start my entrepreneurial journey? Well, that was very interesting. I mean, it could be interesting for many of you because I started this in 1995 or 96 when my daughter was about a year and a half. I was very, very ambitious when I graduated from my engineering. And I wanted to reach the topmost possible in the corporate world. And having a family obviously is not going to help, at least not in those times. But as soon as I got married, my husband and I took a very conscious decision that family comes first. Family would be the priority, and that I would take the responsibility for bringing up or for making a good home. So, I took that in the right spirit. Even today, I have no regrets about having taken a back seat with regard to my career. I'm very contented with the way I have developed brought about my children. So in '95, when I decided to restart my career after my baby was born, and she was 1.5 years old. So I was in a dilemma whether to take up a job or to go for entrepreneurship. And like I said, there was no kindergarten. My mother and my mother-in-law were no more, so there was no family support, in the sense there was no woman to take care of the child. I talked to quite a few people about what can be done. And someone suggested this market research it was possible to do it from home. So that was the attractiveness, that was the part of the market research that I took up. So we bought a computer and we set up the software. But with all kinds of journeys, there was a steep learning curve for me with regard to this, my first entrepreneurial journey. But like I told you, because I was ambitious, I wanted to make it work for me. So I would spend day and night learning that software package, learning how to work with it, and it was all self-taught. And of course, there was someone who would help me understand the software, how to use it, and things like that. But it was always like, those days there was no mobile. It was a landline call, which would be it was not flat rate. Every minute costs, and we did not have a big investment to make, so everything was difficult. But I'm so glad I took those steps, and I worked really hard to make it work, and that's what brought me here.
Very interesting, Malti. And as you mentioned, the attitude for learning, that of course is a very important aspect as an entrepreneur that you should have.
Yeah, and the Navratri celebrates the knowledge, So we have Saraswati, the deity for knowledge. So we celebrate Saraswati during the Navratri.
Yeah. So on the same lines, the next question is how difficult was your journey as an entrepreneur in Germany, and what challenges did you face when you came here to a foreign land and to start up again afresh?
Yes. That's a very interesting part of the journey, so to say. So we came to Frankfurt in 2006, and for a short period of time I was a freelancer. and I was teaching English. I was teaching business English, and I started looking for a job because I'm an engineer. I have some experience with me, and it was not so easy. I had expected that Germany would just lap me up with my qualification and the skill sets that I had, but it was not so easy to find a job. And I started talking to various people. The city of Frankfurt has lots of organizations that helps a foreigner settle down easily in Germany and to find a job. So I went to such organizations. I had a lot of consultations with these people, and they suggested, with my attitude and aptitude, they referred me to attend a particular course. I was interested in the energy sector and being an electrical engineer. That was very natural for me, and so they referred a course on renewable energies, which was kind of coming up at that point of time. And this course was in German, completely 100% German. So though I had done my course in the German language up to the B1 level, and I had a decent amount of communication in German, I found it difficult. I was there for a trial day, and coming from India, our education is completely in English. So we have learned to think in English and take down notes in English, to process the information in English. And when I was there in the class, which is a subject that I know and which is a subject that I enjoy, but I found it so difficult, so lacking, I would say. Totally, it was like I was losing my self-confidence simply because the language. Simply because it was in the language that I was not comfortable with. It's not my native tongue. I'm not ashamed of not knowing German. Even today, after having lived for so many years, my German is not perfect. But nevertheless, I went through that course for a day, and I decided at the end of the day that this is not going to work for me. So then I started talking to people, and like I mentioned, my well-wishers, my friends kind of encouraged me to start again here in Germany, and support from family, especially my husband, helped me start the company. And we started with engineering exports to India. I still do that. And at the same time, parallelly, there were inquiries for IT consultants here in Germany. And so I love my Janmabhoomi, which is India, the Karma Bhumi, which is now Germany, and I wanted to bring the best from each countries. So Germany is known for its engineering, so I exported that to India. IT is well known in India, so I brought the IT skills here. So that's how my first GmbH was formed, and it continues till date.
Wow, Malti, there was quite a lot of inspiring insights there. I'm sure many people will benefit from the journey that you had.
Thank you.
You have founded a new startup called Bokia.online.
Yeah.
So do tell us something about that.
Yeah, that's, I could talk for hours on end about the startup Bokia.online, which I started in 2019. In fact, we're going to complete about 2 years next month in October 2021. So when we first, as a family, when we first came to Germany, we found that the community that we are seeking, the society that we are seeking, was not there. The modern education gives us all kinds of knowledge that would help us find a job, find a career for ourselves. But the knowledge that one needs for personal growth, especially the knowledge that helps us stay connected to our roots, coming from India, which would be the Indian culture, the Indian traditions, the Indian heritage, the Indian art. That was something that I found lacking at the point of time that I came to Germany. So fast forward to 2019, is it still lacking? No. Today we have so many cultural associations in Frankfurt. There are so many. And across Germany also you find a lot of such associations. But for someone who comes first to Germany, the information is not so easily available, I would say. Let me put it that way. It's not so readily available, not so easily available. So I wanted to create a platform which brings everyone under one common platform where all kinds of information would be available, not only about these associations but also about the events that these associations are holding. And we also have a section where we have lots of articles, lots of stories about everything about India and its rich heritage and tradition. We have audio stories for children, for small kids. I know everything is available on YouTube, but always having to watch something is not so good. Let's say you're going on a drive. Let's say you are in the kitchen, the mom is in the kitchen, the kid is just, playing there. Turn on an audio story for the child, and it is all in the mother tongue of the child. So let's say you come from Andhra Pradesh, you have a Telugu story. I come from Tamil Nadu, there's a story in Tamil. So I'm trying to build a repertoire of audio stories for kids from all over India. And I welcome all mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, anyone who's interested in sharing an audio story for the children growing up here, the expat Indian kids growing up here, are most welcome to reach out to us.
That's a great initiative, Malati. I'm sure many would benefit from this and would be interested in these courses and events.
I would like to add, we are also going to start courses on the Indian knowledge systems, the Indic studies as they call it, and please stay tuned. It's going to come soon on Bogyan.
That's great. And also that you host a podcast.
Oh yeah.
The Impressive Empress.
Yes. That's again another passion of mine, I should say. It's become a passion now for me. And, as an entrepreneur, we are always looking out for some role models. And I was looking, when I look for role models and leaders, women leaders, always, Google, when I looked up on Google. And Google, on the first three pages, it gave me women leaders mostly from the US of A or from Australia or someone from the Europe, but not a single woman from India. It was shocking, it was very disappointing. It doesn't mean that we do not have Indian women who are leaders. We have in India Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, and US we have Indra Nooyi, and we have so many more in between. But why is not Google showing them to me? Why is it that, even though I've lived here for so many years, my heart is still Indian. And I still think Indian. I still follow Indian. So I want a role model who is Indian. So, it was really very, very disappointing. And then I started, why is that the case? And then with some research, I found that Indian women are not so forthcoming and we are not so self-promoting. And that's the reason why we are not showcased. And that's the reason why Google doesn't show us, probably. And that's my own perception. So then I started studying the stories that I picked up some names and then I Googled those names. Of course, I get their stories. And on reading all these stories, this is what I learned. The Indian woman, an average Indian woman leader, does not do things for her own self. She's very different. And I like that difference. And I started finding out what that difference is. Why is an Indian woman leader very different from any other leader? It turns out that she leads from her heart. She leads from her heart so she can leave an impression across the minds of so many people, and she's there creating a very positive difference. And that's what I liked, and that's what I wanted to cover as stories for the generations to come. And I wanted to start an inspiring way of telling these stories, and that's how the Impressive Empress was born. And I'm very happy to have spoken to 17 amazing women, including Madam Pratibha Parker, who was the Consul General until 2020.
Wow, that's quite a motivating and innovative initiative. I'm sure that we'll also learn a lot about our Indian women leaders in future after listening to your podcast.
Yeah, you can follow this podcast on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, on Amazon has invited us, so soon you'll find them on Amazon. We are there on JioSaavn. We are there on iTunes. So the list is huge. So we are there on Stitcher and Podbean.
So, Malati, finally, what advice would you like to give other Indian women who are coming to Germany if they want to start their journey of entrepreneurship?
That's a very, very interesting question and a very relevant question too. First, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to be courageous and be ready to face challenges. Challenges are there to test us, so we may fall, we may fail, but then pick yourself up. Build that power within and become resilient. So the next time you fall, you don't just be there on the floor. Get up and get ready to face life as with all its challenges. It's a package deal. No? Second, network. Get out of your comfort zone. You may have heard this. If you're looking for entrepreneurial advice, you might have heard this often. Networking is very important, and that's how you make friends. That's how you can grow. Third would be have a cheerful attitude to life, because life is not so serious. If you simplify life, you can enjoy life, you can enjoy your entrepreneurial journey also. Be there for the family, be there for the work, and have a definition for success. It has to not come from outside. It is something that you have to define for yourself, and that's how you will be able to have this cheerful attitude. So last but not the least, I would like to share my mantra. So it's called Empower. So since we are talking about Navratri and women empowerment, so Empower is an acronym. It stands for Embrace the Woman in You. Tap into the power within and emerge radiant.
Wow, Malati, those bear some valuable inputs. And I'm sure women, those who not only want to be an entrepreneur, but even if they want to succeed in their life and be happy and a satisfied life, they will surely be benefited by these words of yours.
Thank you.
So thank you once again to take out time and be a part of the series. And it was a pleasure to have you here. On behalf of Consulate General of India, Frankfurt, we thank you once again and wish you all the best for your future endeavors, the current endeavors, and all the endeavors.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate the appreciation from the CGI Frankfurt for recognizing the efforts that so many women out here are doing, and thanks for inviting me and making me part of this series 2021. Thank you, Chandrima.
Namaste.
Namaste.